If you want to understand why your skin has been dry and cracking for years, no matter what you put on it, do not blame the cold weather and do not blame your age. The answer is not sitting on any pharmacy shelf. It lives quietly inside you, in one organ most people over 60 never consider when they are standing in the lotion aisle. If that organ is struggling, every cream in the world will not stop what is quietly taking comfort from your hands and your skin. Come close, my people. Let Mother Mary show you what she has watched for over 55 years. What I am about to share could change the quality of your life or the quality of life of someone you love more than anything that comes in a tube or a bottle. Most doctors never make this connection in a 15-minute appointment. The prescription pad is faster, and a real conversation about deep organ function takes time the clinic cannot give. So the skin keeps cracking, the itching keeps returning, and the real cause goes unaddressed. This is what the old teachings were made for, to give you what the rush could not. My name is Mother Mary Beckford. For over 55 years, I have walked the blue mountains of Jamaica, carrying the healing tradition of 4 generations of women in my family. My grandmother, a beloved midwife and bush healer in the hills above Port Antonio, dedicated her life to the belief that the body knows how to heal when it is given what it needs. I have never stopped believing the same thing. When my folks come to me with dry, cracking skin that creams cannot reach, I have learned to look inward. The skin is a messenger. It is pointing toward an organ that has grown quiet. My grandmother always said that all true sickness traces back to the belly first, the gut, the liver, the whole digestive center. This is where the body decides what it can use and what it will discard. What the researchers now confirm that this region governs immunity, inflammation, hormones, and sleep, my grandmother already knew through decades of watching her plants do their work. The old ways did not need a laboratory. They had patience and they had time. My grandmother watched this in practice and her mother before her. In 4 generations of healers in our family who served those mountain communities, we rarely saw the dry, peeling, cracked skin that is now so common among seniors in their 60s and 70s. The older folks who came to us from the towns below where the bush remedies had been left behind, they were the ones whose skin had grown leathery and tight. When we asked about their digestion and their liver, the answer told us everything. These same observations had lived in our tradition for generations. The laboratory simply arrived later to give them names. Researchers studying the aging body have confirmed a measurable connection between the liver's slowing function and the condition of the skin in older adults. What the healers in our hills had documented through the plants they worked with, scientists are now publishing in their journals. Now, what I'm going to teach you today will surprise a good many of you, my child. 9 out of 10 people dealing with persistent dry skin after 60 are looking in the wrong place entirely. The things I will share build on each other in a specific order, and that order matters. Each piece supports the one that follows. If you step away before the end, you will miss the part that ties it all together. So give me your full attention and let us work through this together. Before we go any further, will you do something for me? Leave a comment right now. Tell me your age and tell me how long you have been dealing with dry skin that simply does not respond, no matter what you try. I read every single comment on this channel, and I mean that with my whole heart. What you share helps me understand what my folks are going through and shapes every teaching that comes next. Please take a moment. Your voice matters here. In this video, I am going to show you the specific organ that is quietly responsible for most of the persistent dry skin my folks over 60 are living with. I am going to explain exactly how this organ loses its ability to nourish the skin after 60 and why the body sends no warning when it begins. I am going to walk you through 3 hidden forces that make this problem worse with each passing year. Forces that have nothing to do with the weather or the season. I am going to share the recovery practices my grandmother carried in those mountain mornings, rooted in the plants the Creator placed on that island for exactly this kind of need. And I am going to give you the master remedy, the combination I have saved for the end of this teaching, the one that has helped more of my folks reclaim soft and comfortable skin than anything else in 55 years of doing this work. One small favor before we begin, my people. If you have found your way here and have not yet subscribed, please take 2 seconds and press that button. It is free, and every person who joins helps this knowledge travel further to more seniors who are sitting somewhere right now wondering why their skin will not heal. That is the whole reason we gather here. You know this feeling. You finish your bath, and before you can even dress, the skin on your legs already feels tight, pulled thin. The backs of your hands crack near the knuckles, sometimes deep enough to sting. You have tried every lotion and every cream, the thick ones, the ones for sensitive skin, the ones with the word repair right on the label. Some help for an hour. By morning, the tightness is back. My folks have told me this story so many times over the years, daughter, that I can finish it before they do. And the first thing I always say is this: what you are feeling is real. This is not something you must simply accept because of your years. Your skin is telling you something. It is speaking in the only language it has. And what it is saying reaches deeper than the skin itself. The organ your skin has been asking you to support is the liver. The liver serves the body in hundreds of ways each hour of the day. Among the most important for the skin is the production of bile. Bile is the body's fat processing liquid. When you eat food that contains fat, the liver releases bile to break it down and allow the body to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins inside. Vitamin A, which rebuilds the skin's surface. Vitamin D, which governs the skin's repair process. Vitamin E, which protects the moisture barrier that keeps skin from cracking open. These vitamins cannot enter the body without bile to carry them through. And after 60, the liver's bile production slows by roughly 30% in most people. Think of your skin as a stone wall built with mortar. The fat-soluble vitamins are the mortar that fills every crack and keeps every stone sealed. When bile decreases, less mortar reaches the wall. The stones begin to dry out and separate. You can paint that wall from the outside all day long, but if the mortar is starving, the paint will not hold. Here is the aging-specific reality. After 60, the liver loses close to 1/3 of its functional cells, and its blood supply decreases measurably each decade. The body announces none of this. There is no pain and no warning. There is only the skin growing drier with each season and a person standing in the pharmacy wondering what they are missing. The healers in our hills called it the liver growing tired, and they knew exactly which roots to bring to wake it again. Those roots grew from the ground itself, from the bark of trees and the bitter leaves of plants the Creator placed alongside the people who needed them. In our tradition, the liver came first. The skin followed. Now, 3 forces are making this liver skin problem worse in the bodies of my folks, and most people never know any of them are at work. The first is the loss of thirst. After 60, the part of the brain that signals thirst grows less sensitive. A body that is significantly dehydrated may feel no urgency to drink. Bile itself is largely water. A dehydrated liver cannot produce enough of it to do its work, no matter how carefully the person eats. Many seniors I see have been quietly underhydrated for years without ever knowing it. The second force is the weight of daily medications. The average senior over 65 takes 5 or more prescription medications each day. Every one of them must pass through the liver to be processed. A liver already slowing with age and now asked to filter that load every single day has less capacity remaining for bile production and vitamin processing. This simply describes what is happening inside the body, and knowing it allows us to offer the liver better support. The third force is the one most folks never hear about. Researchers now tell us that by the time many of us reach our middle 60s, close to 1/3 of the beneficial bacteria we once carried in our gut have disappeared, and many folks miss this important truth. A probiotic alone is not enough. The bacteria need prebiotic fiber to eat, and they need postbiotics, which are the actual healing compounds the bacteria themselves produce when they are truly thriving. Think of bread rising. The yeast is the probiotic, but yeast alone cannot rise without the flour and water that feed it, which are the prebiotics, and without the risen bread itself, the postbiotic, the nourishing thing the whole process produces. All 3 must be working together before the gut can support the liver and before the liver can support the skin. Dorothy was 74, a retired school teacher from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who had lived with dry, cracking skin on her hands and forearms for close to 6 years. She had tried every prescription cream her doctor offered. What had been overlooked was that Dorothy was taking 7 daily medications and had avoided all dietary fat for over a decade, having read years ago that fat was harmful. When we gave her liver direct support, returned healthy fat to her morning meals, and worked on her hydration routine, Dorothy told me that within 10 weeks, the cracking on her knuckles had reduced by close to 60%. She said, "Mother Mary, I thought this was just how old hands look. I never knew this could change. Now comes the part where we rebuild. The liver does not require dramatic intervention, my people. It requires consistency and the right support given in the right order. The first recovery practice is the return of healthy fat to the morning meal. Many of my folks have been taught to fear fat for decades. The fat-soluble vitamins the skin depends on cannot move through the body without fat to carry them. Half an avocado in the morning, a spoon of raw coconut oil alongside it. These are medicine for the skin's foundation. The second practice is the morning bitters tea. Dandelion root, steeped for 10 minutes in freshly heated water, drunk slowly before the first full meal of the day. This gentle bitterness encourages the liver to produce bile, which gets the day's vitamin absorption moving before food arrives. Now, I want to pause here for a moment because so many of my folks have been asking what I personally use to support the gut foundation that makes all of these practices work more deeply. The body you are tending on the outside is only as strong as the terrain you are building on the inside. That terrain lives in the gut. The product I have landed on for supporting that gut terrain is BoochBod, a kombucha gummy that brings together prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics in one daily piece. It contains 2 clinically studied strains, lactospore and postbiotics. LM1004, along with dandelion root and slippery elm, plants the island healers of our tradition have used for generations to quiet the belly and strengthen the body from within. Over 30,000 people have already been using it. It is a gummy, not a pill, which matters for those of my folks who have had enough of swallowing capsules. The link is waiting in the description below, and please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. Harold was 69, a retired postal worker from Savannah, Georgia, who had been waking each morning for 3 years to skin on his legs so dry he described it as looking like old paint lifting from a wall. What had been overlooked was that Harold had avoided food containing natural fat for nearly 4 years, and his mornings began and ended with coffee and nothing else. Within 8 weeks of beginning the morning bitters practice, returning healthy fat to his meals, and establishing a hydration routine that started the night before, Harold reported that his skin had softened by well over half. He said, "Mother Mary, I did not know I had been doing this to myself." One word before we continue. If you are managing a liver condition your doctor has already named, or if your liver health has come up in your medical care, please bring these practices to your doctor and work alongside their guidance. The old ways have always respected the wisdom of knowing when more support is needed. And now we arrive at the most important teaching I have to give you today. Everything shared so far, the morning fat, the bitters tea, the hydration, the gut terrain support, each of these is a single thread. The master remedy passed down to me was the weaving of them into one morning sequence, a specific order of support so that each step prepares the ground for the one that follows. She called this the morning preparation. She practiced it every day of her adult life. And her skin at 78, the last photograph I carry of her, was soft and unlined in a way that people younger than her could not account for. She credited the preparation. Her own teacher before her credited the same. Here is how the sequence moves. The very first thing in the morning, before water, before food, half a cup of lukewarm water with the juice of half a lime and a small pinch of sea salt. This wakes the liver gently. The lime encourages bile flow. The mineral trace in the salt gives the liver what it needs to begin the day's work. In our family, we have always called this the body's morning greeting. 15 minutes after that, the bitter root tea, dandelion root steeped for 10 minutes in freshly heated water, drunk slowly and not rushed. Research examining dandelion root and its effects on liver function has confirmed what the island healers observed across generations, that this bitter root measurably supports bile acid production and liver enzyme activity. The laboratory came to what the old ones already knew and found the same thing waiting. The old ones were not surprised. 30 minutes after the tea, the first food of the day, which must include a healthy fat, half an avocado, a spoon of raw coconut oil, something that gives the bile just release something to work with so the fat-soluble vitamins can enter the body and begin their journey toward the skin's surface. Frances was 77, a retired nurse from Burlington, Vermont, who had spent 40 years caring for other people's bodies with everything medicine had to offer. When she came to me, she was embarrassed that her own hands had cracked so badly she could not hold her grandchildren's hands comfortably without them seeing the bleeding knuckles. She knew the language of medicine well. What had been overlooked was that Frances had never once thought to look at her liver when she thought about her skin. She followed the morning preparation for 12 weeks. By week 10, the cracking had reduced by 70%, which she measured carefully against photographs taken at the very beginning. She wept a little when she told me. She said, "Mother Mary, I spent 40 years telling patients to ask the right questions. I never asked the right one for myself. After 55 years of watching what truly moves the body toward comfort and away from suffering, I have come to 4 understandings that most people never hear. Number 1, timing matters more than amount. 2 tablespoons of healthy fat taken at breakfast alongside food supports the skin far better than the same amount taken on an empty stomach. The fat-soluble vitamins require food around them to be absorbed and carried to where the skin needs them. Number 2, hydration must begin the night before. 1 glass of water before sleep, not just after waking, starts the morning with the liver already primed and ready to produce. Number 3, bitterness is medicine. The more we remove bitter foods from the diet, the more we remove the liver's natural stimulants. Dark leafy greens, dandelion, lime. The body learns to welcome what heals it. Number 4, consistency beats intensity. A small morning practice carried faithfully for 30 days outperforms any dramatic occasional effort. The liver rewards steadiness above all else. 3 mistakes I watch my folks make when they begin this work. Mistake 1, applying oil or cream to dry skin before addressing the cause inside. The skin will feel better for an hour. The cause continues underneath. Tend the terrain before you tend the surface. Mistake 2, starting and then stopping after a few days. The liver is a slow-moving organ to support. It rewards consistency given over 3 to 6 weeks. Most folks stop just before the improvement becomes visible. Mistake 3, drinking all their water at once. 8 glasses in one sitting does not serve the liver. Small, consistent sips throughout the entire day are what the bile-making process actually responds to. My child, let me tell you what this is really about. It is about whether you can hold your grandchild's hand without wincing. It is about pulling on a pair of gloves on a cold morning without the knuckles cracking open. It is about being present in your body with some measure of comfort, the comfort you deserve after all the years you have given to others. You are not a passenger in this body. You have always been the one whose choices shaped what the body could do. This is one more choice, a gentle one, a morning one. It is never too late. The liver, even in its 70s, even in its 80s, responds to care. I have watched bodies change at 70, at 75, at 80 years of age. The Creator did not build this body to be abandoned at 60. These practices work because the body was designed from the very beginning to receive them. Let me bring this together for you. We began with the symptom: dry, cracking, unresponsive skin, and the understanding that the skin speaks for organs that have grown quiet inside the body. We named the hidden cause. The liver, specifically its age-related slowing of bile production after 60, which leaves the skin starved of the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, and E that hold it together from within. We identified three forces that make it worse: the loss of thirst sensitivity after 60, the burden of multiple daily medications on an aging liver, and the depletion of gut bacteria that can no longer fully support the body's absorption work. We walked through the recovery, the return of healthy fat to the morning meal, the morning bitters tea, the hydration routine that begins the night before, and the gut terrain support that allows every other practice to work more deeply. And we finished with the master morning sequence from the Blue Mountains, the preparation held across 4 generations that moves the liver through a complete morning of support before the first full meal of the day arrives. If this teaching has served you, please subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next. And will you share this video with a spouse, a sibling, your oldest friend who has been sitting with this same quiet suffering and wondering why nothing helps? They deserve to know. Leave me a comment below. Tell me which part of today's teaching surprised you most, or which practice you plan to begin first. I read every single comment on this channel, and your words guide what I bring to you next. If you would like to look at BoochBod, the gut foundation I spoke about today, the link is in the description whenever you are ready. And to all of you who stayed through to the end, my people, I see you. Go gently, go with intention. Take care of the body the Creator gave you.